78 International on top of a 2008 F350 frame. And I bought a 2010 school bus, a Bluebird bus. And I took the radiator, engines, transmission, all the piping, the reservoir tanks, and I shoehorned that in there. It's got a built trans. And then I cut the floor firewall, all that out because it was all rusted. And put it all together and spent a lot of time and money doing it. And then it's got Legacy Low Pro air ride seats in it, mid backs, and then a dual DIN radio, and all the electronics for the engine are school bus side with a tune and a delete, and then all of the wiring harness is a painless harness running it. Built a flatbed in house, used the plasma table, cut out the bed sides and all that, and then it's just 22s or 22 5s milled down to 22s with semi adapters on it.
That's really cool.
And it's a true four-wheel drive dually. So I got the front axle, or the Allison that came out of the school bus. You can buy a bell housing adapter for a 2010 GM.
Okay.
And put a GM transfer case on it.
Okay.
So you can get a four-wheel drive out of a school bus application.
That is cool. So is that a Ford transfer case?
No, it's a Chevy transfer
It's a Chevy transfer case.
And then I custom built both drive shafts. And the frame was a crew cab long bed frame, and I cut 3 foot out of it to give it a single cab long bed length. Threw a dually rear axle under it, so it's a single wheel front end.
So that's a Ford rear axle.
Yep.
GMC transfer case. The Allison and the engine out of the school bus, and then the Ford front axle. Right?
Yep.
Cool. I really like the seats. Does it got, do you got an air pump on the engine? I didn't even look that close.
Nope. It's just a hydraulic pump for the power steering. And then, that's about it.
How do you get the air in the seats? Is it just a little pump?
I haven't got to that part yet.
Oh, you still got to put...
I have a 12-volt compressor in my toolbox at home. I just haven't mounted it up and wired it.
Gotcha.
And then actually, the school bus has cruise control. So this has cruise control and tow haul and high idle and all the stuff that came from the school bus directly over.
That's awesome.
So it's about as factory as you could get out of a swap.
That is cool. And usable, because you used it to haul the Cabover over.
Yep. I use it to tow my 20,000 pound excavator around at my house and do little side jobs with it. And it gets the job done. And we farm a couple 100 acres. So tow tractors around, go to the fairgrounds and all that stuff. So
that's awesome. That is really awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Caleb.
No problem.
I appreciate you bringing it down for me.
No problem. Anytime.
Margaret, meet your younger sister. 1979 C8000. Younger but bigger sister. I am really excited about this one. Got a big old transmission in her, coupled to a big old yellow diesel. So you may be asking yourself, Andy, what in the heck are you doing? You didn't even finish the first Cabover truck, and you got another one sitting right behind you. Well, I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. I was looking around on popular internet marketplace, and I was looking for a diesel engine. Margaret is severely underpowered, if you didn't know this. And what we want to do with Margaret, we can't do with the power plant that is in there. So I was looking for a 466E engine to transplant into good old Margaret. and that comes with a whole lot of work and a whole lot of stuff that it's doable, but rather difficult. You got all that linkages, trying to fit it under the cab, and in doing so, I found this old girl. She's a whole lot bigger and a whole lot younger. This is a 1979, 17 years younger C8000. So it has a much higher load capacity, much bigger power plant and drivetrain, and I think this old girl is gonna be pretty sweet. Let's see if we can't get her started. We gotta do some monkeying around. Obviously, you saw her come off the trailer, but she didn't come with the batteries or the diesel fuel tank, so we gotta get in there and tinker around. But first, let's just do a walk around, look at the cab on this old girl. The extra lights in the front, those will go away. I don't particularly care for those. A little bit different. They got the turn signals up here, and they have the side markers down here in the door, which is different from my cab. My Margaret's are up here in a little round beacon. Looks like the glass is all good. We got to get some wiper blades on those wipers. These are air operated, and if we bump that, that's going to scratch the piss out of the window. It's got some frame rail extensions on it. Just look at this shiny chrome bumper. I mean, that's super nice. I don't know if I like the shiny insert. I think that's probably marker lights that aren't on this. Just look at this cab. Tires that are like 10,000 times better, and it has a traditional style. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lug wheel up front. Oh, look at that interior. They always rust out down here. This is all appears to be original, not rusted out. The floorboards there, the mat's a little broken, but there's no holes. The seat is nice. Supfin Corp, or Supfin, made in Columbus, Ohio. Let's see here. We got a nameplate. We got a gross vehicle weight rating of 35,000 pounds. Gross axle front rating 12,000 pounds on the front axle. 23,000 pounds on the rear axle. Fire pumping engine. Oh man, it's nice. The headliner isn't rubbing my head because it isn't falling down like it is in the Margaret. We got spotlights up here, that's kind of cool. I might actually use those. That's really cool. The paint scheme on the interior isn't as cool as Margaret, but let's take a look at this. Gear shifter's a little stiff, but it doesn't move 40 mile. We got reverse over here on the left, forward, first gear, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So first, back, second, third, fourth. I don't want to break a shifter fork or bend it, so we're not going to force that. Oh, look at that. The glove box even works. It's like original stuff in there. Engine hour meter. 598.8, so less than the 600 hours. And on the gauge, 15,260 miles. Still has air pressure in her. That's the air horn. Window's down over there. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna have to figure that out. It's got a sliding rear window. That's kind of cool. Fix this window real quick. Seemed there was duct tape on it at one point in time. Shouldn't move like that. Let's see here. At least it's shut, kind of. Here, same story on this side. All factory, no rust. It's got these chrome extensions on the side. No rust up in there. Look at that frame. That frame's nicer than my 2006. I'm not going to tip the cab just quite yet. I want to make sure everything's good inside, and I want to do that also before we go flipping things. These levers feel a little sticky, they're a little bit different. Not exactly sure. They got this changed because they put these side skirts on. This is all part of the fire truck conversion. This is where the jump seats would go. So they have this extra cowl that they welded on. The original cab would be somewhere in here. Don't particularly like those, but they are welded to the original cab. Put an extra set of seats back here. Looks like that part over there is probably the rustiest part of the cab, is on that extension right here. Looks like she's sitting on a tree. She's got some moss. Again, also a jump seat would go in here. Big transmission, and then we got some kind of power takeoff assembly for the big pump, big gear drive. Then back to the big rear end. Kind of surprised. He said it was a single speed rear end, and he said this thing would kick down the highway about 70 miles an hour. So I want to figure out what this gear ratio is on this rear end, so we can kind of figure out how what we're gonna do here. I'll check the gear ratio on this rear end once we get everything fixed up so we can actually drive this thing. See how fast it'll go. That is one big rear end. That might even be bigger than my semi. Top's a little rusty. Got some straps up there, I don't know. Is there decoration or if they cover seams? It's already got a small PTO on the side of the transmission. Spicer. D7HT700 model CM6052. Got to look that up, see if we can figure out what gears are in this thing. So look at that engine. This engine is a 10.4 liter, 600 and some odd cubic inches. And Margaret is 332 cubic inches, 5.4 liter. So we have an extra 300 and some odd cubic inches here, 5 liters. And it's a diesel. a V8 diesel. Margaret's younger sister came about because I was looking for a diesel engine, and we bought this thing strictly because of that diesel engine in there. And when I went to look at it, everything else about it was wow. She's in very good shape, and I'm starting to question exactly how we're going to proceed here. The gears are spinning. I really don't know. Drop down in the comments section if you've been following along on the Margaret saga. Let me know what you think we should do with this old girl and this engine and transmission. This thing is just in so much better shape than Margaret, and it's really getting the wheels spinning in there about what we need to do to go forward to make progress on this build. I hope you are as excited about this new build as I am. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I just want to give a shout out to Caleb. We bought this from Caleb, and he was nice enough to deliver it with his custom International. That thing was really sweet. Yeah, and if you can, drop down in the comments. Give him a big shout out and a thank you, because he helped me get this truck here in a fraction of the time it would take for me to pick it up. She's quite a bit heavier than Margaret, at least from the front end. And that would have been a really stout load on my single axle trailer. He had a trailer with a set of tandems in the back, much more capable of hauling it, and he brought it down on his cool custom International build. What is this? Well, does it have some kind of... It's got an air tank here. It might have some type of airlift. Alright, well that took a good minute because we had to find a whole new hose and make our air hose longer. I think we got her now. Let's see what's going to happen. Really don't want to get hit in the face with this. Not building any pressure. Got the straight chuck on there. Air's coming out somewhere. Wish I could read this plaque. Oh, there's an airbag right here. I think that's supposed to help lift it. Appears to be discombobulated. Supposed to be wrapped up around that dome. So that is indeed the lift. It's not working because it's not, the bag's blown out or disconnected up there. Now the next question is, how do we lift? Oh. Okay, she wants to go. She's just really freaking heavy. Oh, how's a fella gonna do this? Not really sure here. Got both doors open. This back wing's making her super duper heavy. Forget that plan. I think the float is stuck on Margaret and she's flooding herself out, and or it needs adjusted with that new fuel pump. So she's not happy. What we were gonna do is bring the crane over here. Not that we had a good point to lift, but try to lift back here. And then I remembered, if you go up here inside the cab, flip the seat down and get that access panel, our coolant tank is right there. So we should be able to add coolant here. We just need to get under there and close off the petcock. Margaret came preloaded with green stuff, so we never really did anything but look at this thing. Sounds like that tank's draining. Let's go make sure it's not coming out down there. We went the wrong way with the petcock, or it's leaking somewhere else. I've already mentioned how much I hate antifreeze. I don't think any more is coming out. At least I hope not. Okay. Let's get past our river of antifreeze. We're gonna have to put something on that pig mat, maybe. Let's try to add some more. We just put 2 gallons of water in roughly and another gallon, so we're sitting right around 5 gallons of fluid we put in there. Let's put this on there, so leave it on loose, and hopefully that doesn't pump out all over the ground. Let's get our new big tractor battery we got from Margaret. We got our pine needle here saying which one's positive. Only problem is the post and these are lug terminals. So believe it or not, I made a special trip just to try to look for screw-on lugs for this, so I could just clamp it on there the easy way, and I was not finding them. Wish that. I don't know if that's going to give us the contact we need, but we'll give it a shot. Next step is to just cut these off and put eyes on them. It's go time. We're going to see if this new girl will fire up, unlike her older sister who's really grumpy. Pretty confident. She's just running yesterday. All we did today was add coolant. We tried to tip the cab and we got our battery hooked up. We might need to adjust those battery connections, but let's see what she's gonna do. You didn't know, I'm super excited. Let's see what this old girl's gonna do. Now that we got coolant in it, as long as it's not blowing coolant everywhere, we can run it a little bit longer than the 5 minutes that we had it running total when we looked at it and dropped it off. See what she's gonna do. Whoa, didn't put fuel on. Got too excited. All right, let's see if she'll take off with that. We probably better strap this down somehow, or just sit it precariously like right there. All right, helps when you put fuel in it. Smoking a little. Shows we got oil pressure, building air. You can bet I have to get in this thing and move it. I've never drove it. I never even lot drove it. This is the longest it's ran since I've owned it. All right, we got some foam behind the wiper blades there to make sure we don't accidentally bump the switch and scratch the window. Third gear. Direct drive, fifth gear. Oh, she's bumpy. RPM's about 25. Well, we might be in third gear. RPMs are doing 30. Fifth gear. $30 an hour at about 1400. Well, if you couldn't tell already, this is Margaret's younger but much bigger sister. I haven't come up with a nickname for her yet, but we'll come up with something. So good old Margaret here has got some competition. We got to figure out exactly what we're going to do. I'm just making things up as we go. Like I said, I bought the new truck basically for the drivetrain, and now I'm really starting to second guess just exactly how we want to approach this. The power steering works in this thing. It builds 150 psi. It's not rusty. She is a beaut. I mean, yeah, and she already has the diesel engine. She has the big heavy transmission. As of today, she has coolant. Super excited about where this is gonna go. Super happy we got to get her running today. Take a little lap around the block. Hit the air horn. That actually works. I didn't think that was going to. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you stick around if you want to see what's going to happen to the new Cabover, Margaret's younger but much larger diesel sister. Thanks for watching, everyone.